Welcome to the Eagle Eye Podcast, the number one show to bring you all things Club America in English, from tactical analysis
Pelota para la banda izquierda.
to player updates. We've got you covered on all the latest news on Las Águilas. Now, let's start the show. This is the Eagle Eye Podcast.
What is going on, guys? Ivan is not here today, so I'll be taking over as host. Hope everyone's having a good night. Despite the game that we just witnessed, and we're gonna break down everything from start to finish, the penalty shootout, and everything in between. But thankfully, I'm not alone tonight because I don't think I could do it alone tonight. I have my main man, Chris, here. Chris, how are you tonight, brother?
Very annoyed. I mean, I'm sure you're gonna hear me throw a lot of stuff that I didn't like today or other games. You know, so it's gonna be a pretty ranty podcast tonight. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, there's a lot to break down, honestly. But we'll start with the 11. I think if you have it up, I'll give you a couple minutes to try to bring it up for us so you can read it off to us. Looking at it initially, I mean, I was okay with it. It kind of just seemed like it was the best that we had at the moment, despite Henry's injury. I understand Jardine didn't want to really put Diego for a full 90 because he just came back from injury. That's more understandable. But I don't think that. I think people could get too mad over the lineup. I think it was, like I said, the best that we had at the moment.
Oh yeah, I'm not mad at the lineup. I think you kind of when you see it on paper, you don't really question it. But there's some movements that Brian Rodriguez and Leo Suarez were doing that I was just not a fan of, brother. I don't know how you feel, but there's times where you saw Brian Rodriguez out there as an attacking midfielder. You saw Sendejas on the left. You saw Leo Suarez on the left. You just didn't really know what was going on early on in the game, and I was not a fan of that at all. You know, like, to me, they're just, I don't know, man. Jardinel on paper looked like a really good coach, but I'm starting to really have doubts. Maybe it's just a lot of experimenting because of this tournament. I don't know, but man, like you said, when it comes to the starting 11, you don't really have an issue with it. But once you started seeing them on the field, that's when you kind of start questioning things.
Right. Yeah. No. So I completely agree with you there. For moments you've seen Brian Rodriguez kind of pair up with Quinones as a second striker. Then other moments you see him as a left wing. Sometimes I saw him on the right wing at one point. And then you see Sendejas and they'll kind of switch off from that left wing to the 10 position multiple times, and I guess to give maybe Jardine a little bit of credit here, maybe it was trying to switch things up because things weren't really going our way, or we weren't really, finishing our chances. And that's another thing we'll bring up because I think this team lacks a lot of final decision making, final third decision making, and that needs to improve once we go back to Mexico and return to league play. It's just that these MLS teams, and not even just the Nashville game, but the Chicago game as well, there was a lot of moments where you could have really taken the shot from outside the box. And we have players that are capable of doing this, and Degas is capable, Leo's most definitely capable. And it just seems like we're not really taking advantage of most of the opportunities that are given to us from little situations like this. And it's, just take a shot at it. You never know. A rebound here, rebound there. How many goals have we seen like that throughout the duration of the Leagues Cup? How just one little bounce can trickle in. And it just makes the defenders keep guessing, keeps the goalie on its toes, and it just adds a different variety of, I guess, attacking game plan for yourself when you do it. But if we're just going to keep passing, between each other 20 times just for a cross, only to end up being a goal kick, then what are we really playing here?
My biggest issue is when they're inside the box. Wow, what's up with these passes when you're wide open? And that to me comes from a coaching thing because it's like, why so many passes? We didn't see this with Solari. We didn't see this with Dano, right? So to me, it's a coaching thing. Why is it when Sendejas is inside the box or Quiñones or whoever, and the first thing they think of is passing into the next guy? No, shoot it. You're right, wide open. Right. Like everyone could see it that you're wide open. Mm-hmm. So don't tell me it's a, and it's not just one guy. It's everyone. Like I don't know if they're saying this guy needs to score. Maybe the coach is saying, "Oh, if you see this guy's open, like go let him shoot it." No, like
Right.
very frustrating. Like I said, when you look at it on paper, you're like, okay, it's a good team, and then you see like these weird movements, and it's just like me personally, like I said, I'm very annoyed of the result, and we'll get into it right now. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of listeners that are waiting for us to really touch on the ending of that game, but to me, it's just man, like something needs to be fixed in ASAP.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. So we'll just talk about the first half for right now. What did you like and what didn't you like in that first half for us? Oh, did I lose
Like
you?
I said, man, when
Oh,
it
no.
comes to being inside the box, that's what
Mhm.
I just didn't like. It was one of those things where I think we've seen it in other games too. The St. Louis game, we do score a lot of goals, but you could score a lot more goals. And
Right.
personally, I'm just not a fan of the decision making. You're controlling the ball. It's like I was telling my dad, the goal's gonna come any minute now, and then you get the opportunity, and it's like you're hesitant. Why are you hesitating? Like I said earlier, like why are you hesitating? It's just awful, and then like I don't know, man. I like the little things that the midfield does. I don't know if you agree with it, but I like what the short passes that Fidalgo and Jonah do a lot, and
Mhm.
that's one thing that I noticed right away from this team. And but once it gets to the top, once we come to into the attack, it's like we're focusing way too much on that, and I'm not a fan of that at all.
No, yeah, I think and if you want to shine any light of any things, I think that it's good that Jonathan Dos Santos is continuing his good form. Fidalgo with the same thing. I think that they were trying to mix things up, in that first half, trying to slot in the pass here, kind of switch the ball here, kind of do a little cheeky through ball there. They were trying to break down because let's be honest, I think Nashville just came out with the game plan that they were just going to sit back and counter us the whole game. And it just seems that we were having a difficult time breaking down that wall because we had a difficult time against Chicago, and Nashville was like, well, if they could just hold them to a goal, why can't we? We seem to be the better team, so we could probably implement this plan a little bit better, and that's what they came out and did. And for the majority of the game, it was working. Quick counter attack here. They obviously know that our fullbacks like to push up a lot, so they would take advantage of that. They got fast players, and that's when you saw them look a little bit dangerous here and there. Was when on the counter attack, and it's just due to the fact that we're pushing up because we're trying to break down the wall. But like you said, if we're just passing here, passing there, you're just giving them more time to set up in a sense, and we're not taking any risks. And we're doing the same things over and over again, so it's become a little more predictable and easier for them to stop any sort of sense of attack that we got going on.
Another thing that I wasn't a fan on, I'm not a fan of, is Quinones playing the nine. Man, I think this guy needs to play wide, bro. Like
Yeah,
I know we had this conversation. I don't know if you were involved, but I know me and Ivan did. When the rumors came out, and they weren't official rumors yet. They were just kind of like, oh, America's interested, but there's a long list. For me, it was one of those like, oh, well, how do you play him? Well, it's gonna be based on the formation, right? If we're gonna play with one striker, right? He's not the guy that has to play there. He's the
right.
guy that has to play alongside of him, second striker or on the wing, right? We've seen it when he played with Henry. We see the difference. One pulls his mark, one is wide open, right? Because you're gonna respect both of them. Because if you don't
Right.
respect both of them, like you're gonna get scored on.
Hmm.
And to me, it's like, okay, you see the reports, they're not looking to bring anyone in. Well, there has to like it's gonna. I'm gonna sound hypocritical because if you follow me, you know that I'm not necessarily a guy that says put in the academy players, and I'm not even saying that. But if one is down, it's the next man up. If you're a football fan, American football fan, that's the mentality, right? One
Of
guy's out,
course,
the next guy up.
of
You don't
course.
just put someone else in there and you see the struggle. For me, it's like, okay, who's next?
Right.
Mozovito, okay, I'm not a fan of him, but if he's next man up, he's more natural into that position, to that system, right?
Hmm.
And if he's not the guy, right, if you don't believe in him, go bring in someone else. There's
Right.
other youngsters or whoever that you could bring in, maybe a veteran Mexican player that could come in, like Insaurralde. Remember when we brought him in? It was like, why are we bringing this guy in? But it was for depth, for those emergency moments that we needed. Maybe we need that right now, right? You see, to me, Quinones just can't play the nine, bro. Like
No,
you
definitely
see
not.
his
No, and
success in Atlas.
we said this last time too on the podcast. I think I mentioned it where if you look at your available players and if they don't fit what you're originally trying to do, you have to change it up. Don't force the issue. And clearly, it just wasn't working for us. No balls were really getting to him. He was being double teamed. Couldn't really get open space to create anything. He just didn't look like himself throughout the whole 90 minutes, to be honest with you. And like you said, it's a problem, but that also just goes back to bad, I guess, a squad management from Baños and not realizing that we only have one true striker on this team, and that's Henry Martin. And the guy's not invincible, right? The guy's playing
Yeah.
game in, game out, getting called up, playing 60, 70 minutes there, then coming back, then playing this game and then playing that game. Like
Plus the travel.
the guy's due for an injury
Yeah.
sometime or another, right? Like he's not
And
gonna
you saw it
he's
last
not
Liga,
immortal. He's
right?
not immortal.
Last Liga, we seen that too. You see him
Right.
banged up. You had to put in Viñas, right? And
Mhm.
then you had to rush him back in, and you see that he's not gonna be the same player, right?
Exactly.
And he's not young. Like he's in his prime, but he's gonna start declining any minute now because that's
Right.
just how sports is,
Of
right?
course, yes.
Knock on wood, it doesn't happen, right? But
Hmm.
usually, once you start hitting your 30s, you start declining little by little, and then you're an older player. And
But
so for me,
like you said though, why are we not trying to bring in someone as a emergency? You talk to the player, someone like, listen, you're not gonna play many minutes, but when we need you, we're gonna need you to kind of give it your all, whether it be a youngster or a veteran, either
yeah.
or works, but you gotta have someone there, man. You really
And
gotta.
if it's a youngster, right? Let's say it is a youngster, someone from the academy. Cool.
Mhm.
They use these minutes to develop, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, they might not be the it right for the future,
Hmm.
whatever. But maybe they do turn out to be good because they
You
get these
never know. You
opportunities.
never know unless you give them a chance.
And it's an emergency. Like for me, for the longest time, when Viñas right, I would be very clear. I would say I'm not a believer in him. When there's competition like that, and someone that one of your quote unquote starters or your bench isn't performing, you got to bring in that competition from somewhere, right? And
Hmm.
if you're not spending, cool, use the academy. Maybe the academy players don't turn out to be good. It happens, oh well.
They're not
But
all
you
gonna be
gotta,
good.
but you gotta put pressure. You gotta
Right.
go put them out there because then you get into these weird situations where this guy's failing, and it's like, well, of course he's gonna fail because it's like there's no pressure for like, hey, you could lose your spot, right? And obviously, I don't think Henry's ever going to lose a spot. But in this situation where you put Quinones out of place, and maybe we're not bringing in anybody because Cabecita returns, that's still bad because
That's
it's
bad.
like,
That's bad
why
management.
are we waiting for someone? What if he comes back from injury and he's not the same player? Now
Exactly.
we have a need, right? So it's very annoying. Like I said, I'm not necessarily mad, but it gets annoying because you see
Of
the
course.
the where the mistakes come from, and you know that there's maybe a solution out there, and
Right.
maybe it's a risk, but it's like it's out there that you try it out. If it doesn't work out, cool. It doesn't work out. It's not like it's a long term project, anyways. And
Right.
if it does end up being good, cool. We have another option. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. No. No. I agree with all your points there. But anyway, so the first 45-minute pass, we don't really get much going. Nacho's not really threatening. We're not really threatening. Whatever. We go into the second half now. There was a moment in time where I think this happened in the Chicago in the Columbus game. I'm sorry, in the Columbus game. Which seemed like America had everything under control, and then out of nowhere, Columbus makes a couple changes, and we get scored on, and then it seems like we just fluster a little bit. I kind of saw similar things tonight. I think that the National kind of adjusted a little with one or two subs that came in. And then shortly after, the set piece was just defended terribly. And we get scored and now we're down 1-0. So from that moment on, how did you see the team and why did it cost us so much to kind of just switch into gear and kind of start playing America football?
I think Diego Valdez changed everything when he came in. I don't know if you agree with that, but I think it's there's this chemistry that comes with Henry Valdez, and Quinones is gonna end up building up with it. I'm not gonna sit here and say he's a flop or we were lied to, like Ivan tweeted,
It's too
but
early.
yeah, it's way too early. And let's be honest, he's also showed very very good stuff too. We can't sit here and just highlight that. Which is funny coming from me because I do react like that sometimes too, but but I think Diego Valdez, I think you also saw less of the hesitation once the goal happened when he came inside the box, or out even outside. I think we started seeing them more loose, and it's the frustrating thing at the same time because it's like if you guys know this is how we win games, why don't you do it off the bat, from the start? And I think Diego Valdez, if we would have passed, he would have started next game. Maybe we would have seen him as a second striker, right? And Quinones a little bit more ahead instead of the cam. But right now, we I guess we just gotta. Jardine has a lot to think about. Maybe it's a bad thing, maybe it's a good thing, but he has a lot to think about. And luckily for us, the transfer window's also open, so we have to make a move. We talk about set pieces, right? The goal where it comes from. Well, now this is where Baños and Jardine needs to open their eyes and realize that that's always been a problem, and we're in need of a big center back that could clear those headers because the first goal comes from it was Cáceres' mark, right?
It was Cáceres' mark, yes.
It
So
was it's
it's a good thing you brought up.
Cáceres and Malagon's fault in that goal. If we're
I
being
was
honest,
just about to bring that up, right? I was gonna say
Malagon could
who
have
do you
came out.
fault on that goal? Because I have
Yeah,
two. I was gonna say Cáceres and Malagon. I think Malagon
yeah,
gets caught sleeping there. I think if he probably maybe put a punch on that, he probably
yeah.
could have cleared that. Honestly,
He could have came out, and then
yeah,
it's not fair. We don't call that out
of
when
course,
Ochoa has always been
yeah.
criticized for that, right? And that's our last
Mhm.
legit starting goalkeeper. Like
But
you
it's
got to
just
call that out.
like we know this has been an Achilles heel for us. We know we've been bad recently in recent years at defending set pieces, and it's something that we should have been working on throughout the entire tournament. And unfortunately, we get caught sleeping once again, and that's how they can see it. It's and that's how we can see it. I'm sorry. It's just annoying at this point because we obviously know the clear problem. The clear problem is there. Like everyone can see it. Opposing fans can see it. Rivals fans can see it. My second grade teacher can see it. But it's just like,
Everyone,
why can't we fix it?
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So
It's the most noticeable thing since we last won our championship. Since Bruno
right,
Valdez got that injury, right? We haven't been able to fix that because he didn't come
it's
back
been
the same,
terrible.
and no one has been able to fix that. Cáceres, that's not his specialty, and
Hmm.
Israel Reyes, that's not his specialty either. And then Nestor Araujo, right? Well, we'll talk about the second
Yeah,
goal in a
we'll
bit.
get into that in a little bit later.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah.
he's also, and then Emilio
Mhm.
Lara, like, well, I don't want to like highlight him because he, to be fair to him, the goals that has been his fault has been when he's at right back. But I would assume that also he's not good in the set pieces either because they always get win his back. So
Right.
I think it's fair to assume that he's also not a solution there.
Hmm.
So it's a very frustrating thing. Like
Of course.
and then I don't know, man. Like I think Puma Pimentel was better than them at that. And he wasn't necessarily tall, or
Right.
Topo Valenzuela, right?
Hmm.
Another guy who were also short. So it's not like I'm gonna sit here and say, oh, it's because they're short. No, there's other
Right.
guys that were shorter
Hmm.
and were better at this type of defending when it came
Hmm.
to set pieces. And at one point, I kind of wanted to blame coaches, say, you know what, Piojo isn't training them in this in practice. Solari isn't either. Tano isn't either. Tano's too offensive. Maybe they don't even focus on the defense. They can say we're gonna score, score, score. But this is what the fourth
Yeah. Force
coach where
coach.
it's the same problem. I
Hmm.
would like to assume that they do practices and simply they're just not good at it,
Yeah. No, they just
right?
nope. It's
So and
it's
then
concerning. It's super concerning, especially when you look
very
down the line and when we start playing Ligia and we start playing teams with tall forwards, tall center backs. It's not gonna end well for us unless we kind of figure out how to mark everything. But okay, so we're down 1-0. Nashville scores. They're kind of on a little high. We make a change. We take out Leo Suarez. We bring on Diego Valdez. Just talking about that change specifically. Did you like that change, or would you have rather seen Leo be pushed to the right wing take out Sendejas, and then bring in Diego to play the 10?
I wanted to take out Brian Rodriguez
Okay.
personally because I felt his strength was usually his dribbling down. He wasn't doing that. He was
Okay.
all over the place and wasn't necessarily doing it. And his
But
crosses,
but then Brian passed to the left wing when Diego came in, which is
oh,
what his
he played the
natural
left.
on the left, right? So
Oh
that
wait, they moved him to the left.
correct. Yes, when Diego came
I
in
just think you could have put Sendejas there, and I think
on the left
Sendejas was also
over
having a bad game. Well, in Necaxa, he kind of played a little bit to the left.
right,
That's why I
but you
wouldn't
just
mind.
alluded to it though. I think Sendejas was having a bad game. I don't think
Yeah,
he was
he's
in
been
it.
having bad games. If we're
Right,
being
exactly.
honest.
So that's why I'm saying, like, why would you take out Leo Suarez and not Sendejas? Because I think Leo Suarez,
Yeah,
even though he wasn't really doing much, I think he still could have provided a little different element. He still gave you, a free kick specialist there. You still have him
yeah,
on the
yeah.
field. That
In
left is just
form.
right,
Yeah,
exactly,
I can
more
see
informed.
what you're
Right.
saying.
So that's
Yeah,
why I questioned the sub a little bit. Why? But whatever. It doesn't matter at this point, right? The game's over. But I just wanted to get your 2 cents on that. If
yeah,
you
yeah,
felt that
yeah.
was the right sub, or we probably should have taken someone else.
Like I said in the moment, I kind of felt it should have been Brian Rodriguez, but you're making good points. Like I can't really. I think you could have taken out any three of them, and it's not necessarily a bad decision
Yeah, you could say that
because
too
then Layun comes in for Rodriguez, right?
for Chava.
No, for Chava. Who comes in for Brian? No one.
I think that's at the end when we're up,
Araujo comes
and then
in.
Araujo,
Araujo
yeah,
comes in.
right.
Yeah,
So
I,
so you touched on it earlier. Diego Valdez comes in, and wow, we've missed our 10. We've missed our 10, and it really shows how the difference he has on the team when he's on the field. The first touch, the recognition of the field, just where players are gonna be. Like it's not a new system. Like he knows what he's playing into, and it seems like he understood literally from the moment he stepped on the pitch. And little do he finds a space in between the center backs. And boom, a beautiful cross by Kevin Alvarez, and it's 1-1 goal by Diego Valdez. So just give me your little 2 cents again on Diego Valdez and how when he came in, America just completely changed.
he came in. Yeah, completely changed. There was this play also where he passes it down to Sendejas,
Right.
perfect play inside the
Mhm.
box. Sendejas misses it, which surprisingly because usually he knows how to score those type of goals,
Mhm.
So maybe that's also another argument on why Leo Suarez should have been in. But you also see the chemistry, right? Because I don't think Sendejas had those opportunities when he wasn't in there. You see the chemistry between
Right,
Valdez and
exactly. It's
everyone
just
else.
known, right? Exactly. Mhm.
It's like, okay, you know
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm good at. I'm gonna pass it through here. You're gonna be there, and he was there. He doesn't go in, but still, it was a good pass. And you kind of wish you had Quinones, Henry, and Valdez for this tournament. Even Cabecita, right? Maybe you could argue
Yeah.
Cabecita
Mhm.
too, but hopefully, everyone's
I
healthy.
think maybe
We
also
can
that's why we're
start the
not so
season.
bummed out because we know we didn't have our best, which is not an excuse because we should have won the
Yeah,
game regardless.
yeah,
No matter of the team, right? But I think that's another reason why I guess me and you, maybe are on the minimum few of not being so upset about the result is because we know this isn't the team that's going to show up in about 2 months from now. We're going to be completely different, hopefully for the better. Let me not go ahead and jinx it, but I think we're capable than much more than this. Um, but yeah, so thank God Diego Valdez is back. It's just a shame that we're not going to see him getting more minutes or an official competition for another probably 2.5 weeks now. I just hope nothing regresses. I hope he can just the whole team stays in shape or something. We got a couple of friendlies back in Mexico or something because we need to keep this kind
yeah.
of in form, right? We can't stay stagnant. But okay, so there we go, 1-1. We have hope now. We really don't want this to go to PKs because anything can happen to penalties. And the next play that happens, and it's something that I think I was speaking to my father about, and why we miss Diego Valdez so much, and in the point that we brought up at the beginning of the podcast, Diego Valdez shoots from outside the box. Now, whether he's accurate at it or not, I think he more often than not gets more shots on goal. And that's something that Sendejas and Leo Suarez weren't doing. And if they were doing it, they weren't doing a very good job at it. Right? So what does Diego Valdez do? Right? In the 90th minute, he sees the opening and he just lets it rip. And what do you know? What do you know? We get a penalty from it. It's just plays like that I'm saying that we need to start shooting from outside the box, and something that throughout this whole tournament, I don't think we've ever done. Maybe in the in the first game against St. Louis, but at that moment the team was already knocked out, so you could have put in, whatever, and we still would have done a good job. But it's just like those are the moments that open the games up. Those are the moments that keep the defenders on their toes, that keep them guessing. Like, oh my God, is he going to shoot? Is he looking for a pass? What is he doing? We gotta be more focused on him. But if I focus on him, I can't really focus. So it kind of confuses them. Allows us to be more versatile with what we're trying to do. Let a few shots go, man. It doesn't matter. You never know what can happen. And in the 92nd minute, we get a penalty to send us to quarterfinals. And then so from that play on, I just want to talk about the referee in there for a second. Was the handball clear as day to you, or was there a need for there to be an 8-minute revision of the penalty?
Well, that's another thing. Like, we're gonna touch on this like in the end, right? We're gonna touch on all of this, but it's like they give us 5 minutes and we play 10, like because of the long ass review, and it's like,
Right.
but there's no need for that. And then he's looking at different angles too, from behind, the front. It's like what are you looking at? Like,
Right.
I know there's been questionable calls, right, or not calls in other games, right, where there's a clear mano or inside the box, and it's like, oh, we're it wasn't intentional. Well, what does that even mean? Like intentional? Like if he's not blocking his body and his hands out there, that's a mano, like they can't justify that. So for me, I was like, man, they're taking long. They're just looking for any excuse. Luckily, we get it, and like, it's just 8 minutes. The game ended at the 100, and then they give us 5 minutes. Like, how does that make sense, right? Like, just bogus, bro. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
very annoyed of the whole thing. Like I said, like I'm calming down, but still, it's just very annoying because you see how other games have gone, and it's just like,
Right.
man,
So
there's
thankfully,
no reason.
in that moment specifically, Diego Valdez says, "No, Quinones, go do it. I trust you. You can do this." And luckily for us, Quinones slots it in perfectly. And we're up 2-1 in the 92nd minute. And we're 5 minutes away from advancing to quarterfinals. And everything's looking good for us. We knew we didn't play as good as we wanted to. But I think that at the end we deserved the win. And then to close out the game, Jardine decides to bring on Nestor Araujo to kind of get that three center back partnership going, and just try to not to prevent a last minute goal from Nashville, right? And
It's so funny saying that, right?
in the following play, Kevin Alvarez and Sendejas kind of double up on that right side. It seems like Sendejas loses the ball and Kevin Alvarez is nowhere to be found because he's so pushed up. The ball comes into the left side of the field and someone goes to mark. I forgot who gets to go mark him, but then Israel Reyes, I think it was Israel Reyes, who comes
It was
up
like you.
to meet him
Okay, yeah, it really is.
on the right on Malagon's right hand side. So now Israel is out of position, right? And now you
Like
have
behind them.
right, exactly. So you have Cáceres and Araujo. And Araujo does not know where he's at that moment. Like, you watch that replay and he's looking like he doesn't know where to go, what his
Bro,
positioning is, what is going on. My thing is, you have two center backs right there, one midfielder trailing. How does no one see that one guy running in, and you're in the middle of three Americanistas and you score the goal? Like, how does that even happen?
it, to be fair to Layun, he is trying. Because like I think it's Layun or Cáceres. I'm not quite sure. I think it was Layun. He doesn't get there because he ends up being short. But to be honest, Araujo's looking at them right in front of him the whole time,
It's
and
so
and he
bad.
reacts backwards instead of forward. Like, bro, if you see the guy's making a run in, you see your defender, your partner is not catching up to him. Go and get him, bro. If it goes over you, I don't. No one's necessarily gonna blame you because the guy behind you is not your mark. The guy in front of you is. At that moment, the guy in front of you is your mark, not the guy behind. The you got your what is it, or the left back, right? That would have been like no, it wasn't like you. Who was it?
Kevin?
It would have been. Why was Layun in the center? If he's the left back. Who would have got the last guy? That would
That's
have
what I'm saying.
been.
I think it was Reyes that pushed up to meet him to kind of pressure him. But that's also another thing. Why is Israel Reyes almost playing right back. I understand you have to cover Kevin Alvarez's spot, but why was there no one else down there with them?
Wait, well, Reyes wasn't there. Oh, Israel Reyes.
Right,
I
Israel
got
Reyes, right.
confused with
Yeah,
yeah.
Israel Reyes, right.
So who's the guy that's running down with the guy behind?
I'm not too sure.
Sendejas? No, it wasn't Sendejas,
I'm
right?
not too sure. I had to look back at the replay.
Yeah, but
But
still, it's like your
the
guy
goal
should
shouldn't
be
have
the guy
happened.
in
You're
front.
you're in between two defenders. You're two guys right there. How is the one guy in the middle? No one tracking him, by the way. No communication whatsoever. Oh, guys, he's coming in. Oh, guys, watch out. There's a guy trailing. None of it. No awareness from nobody. And
And that
unfortunately,
one I'm blaming Araujo. If I'm being honest with you, that one I do blame Araujo.
of
Because for
course,
me,
you
it's
have to
like,
blame
why
Araujo.
are you so focused on the guy behind you? When, mind you might not even know there's someone behind you, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's someone in front of you, though. You do know that. And it's like, he reacts there so late. And it's like,
I
for
know.
me, bro, like hurry up, pack your stuff, and go to Greece, bro. Like, I'm done, bro. Like,
It's bad.
it was supposed to be, remember when we signed him, he's supposed to fix these issues.
Right.
But anytime we sub
European,
him in, we're getting scored
right,
on. Like,
right.
what's the point of you being in? And I seen conspiracies, where they say like it's because his whole family is Chivas fans. I like to believe that there's people
Play
that
for
are
Cruz Azul.
professional, right? Yeah, I like to believe that there's people that are professionals, right? But you do start to question, like, bro, how do you play consistently in Europe? And
Right.
you come back over here and
And
you
he
don't
was
know how
actually
to
pretty
play.
decent in Europe, which
He
is the
was
funny thing.
decent.
He was
Yeah, he
actually
was
pretty
consistent
decent.
consistent starter, bro. And it's like, oh my god, like what are you doing, bro? Like you're a veteran. He's the oldest guy in the center back room, if I'm not mistaken, right? So he should be the leader, and he doesn't know what he's doing. And it's
Yeah,
like, bro,
no.
pack your bags, go. Like I'm ready for either Cesar Montes, right, who we've been rumored, or a veteran center back that's Brazilian that's gonna yell at everybody, bro. Because that's what we need. Someone that's either super talented or has that leadership that's
Right.
vocal, and like it's just super annoying how that goal happened. And part of me kind of knew once I seen that sub, I'm like, this is the Leon game all over again, isn't it? Where Araujo comes in and there's a goal and we tie up. And I think that game was 2-2 also, if I'm not mistaken.
Honestly, and I know maybe it's unfair for me to say this, but honestly, when I saw Layun coming in as well, I just kind of had little faith in anything that might have happened in the near future. Even more with when the Araujo came in, it just didn't paint to be a good thing. And it's I think I remember one play where Layun kind of was let in no man's land, and he was trying to mark the right winger, and he just stands there, let him go by. Thankfully, Cáceres was there to kind of cut off the play. But it's just little plays like that on a better team on another night, it's just better teams are gonna punish you for that. But my thing is also, Jardine also the subs are starting to become extremely questionable. The tactics to close out games are becoming extremely questionable. And these are things that I kind of brought up when Jardine was first rumored for America, which I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, you guys convinced me to kind of give him a chance and kind of stick with him, and I'm still gonna stick. I'm not saying that let's fire him, but these are the things that I was worried about, that he doesn't have that mentality to be an America coach just yet. Maybe we haven't seen it yet. It's too premature. I understand. We played 2 league games and 4 games of this Mickey Mouse tournament. I understand that's why I'm not saying let's hire him, but you're starting to see flashes of a coach that isn't used to this. And maybe you could, whatever you say. Yes, he went to Brazil with the Olympics. It's something completely different.
It's a youth academy, right? It's
Right.
a youth tournament. Like it's
Exactly.
different when you have an assignment
Mm-hmm.
and you put younger players to learn your assignment, right?
Right.
When this is like veteran players that have their specialties, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you gotta fit
You got to learn how to
adapt to them and
adapt to
everything, right?
right
There's another thing
and get
we
the
talk
best
about
out of it.
Sendejas, right? We talk about Sendejas. There's a game where Sendejas trying to cut in the commentators say, "Oh, Jardinez yelling at Sendejas for going in too much. He should play wide." Why? That's when he's not aware, or maybe he is
Right.
aware and is trying to force something. Sendejas is better when he cuts in, not when he plays wide.
Yeah, of course.
So
We've seen this Sendejas score goals like that.
yeah, and he's really known. He's Robin from Bayern Munich, right back in the day. What remember the memes that they used to make that all his goals were run straight, cut in, shoot with his left, and it would
Yeah,
go
but
in.
it worked for him, right?
And
Exactly.
Sendejas is very similar, right?
Exactly.
So for me, it's like they understand their specialties, not try to enforce. Mind you, maybe it's a headache or it's a little bumpy road, and eventually we're gonna get a clear road where everyone just understands each other and we start seeing
Right.
games, right? It could happen,
Mhm.
but at the same time, it's like like they say, if it works, what is it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, or something like
Right.
that, right?
Hmm.
Don't. It's not broken. Don't do some other stuff, right? I don't know,
Right.
man. I don't have
Um.
an issue with Jardinet that much, but I am starting to question some things. And
Yeah.
it's the attack because, like I said, like I told Ivan a few weeks back, before all this started, I told him, look, one thing that's for sure is that our attack, we have the depth, and it doesn't matter who's out there. Like we're gonna score goals because everyone's capable of doing that. Now, if they suddenly don't become capable of doing that, well, it isn't because of them. I'll say that much.
Right. Yeah. So, anyways, 94th minute. Or actually not 94th. It was like 98 or 99 at that moment. It's 2-2. And the ref just we're not playing no more. We're just going straight to PKs. At that moment, it's like honestly at that point I can't even show you the timestamp or anything. In my other group chat where they were talking about the game. I said I don't care about the result. I really don't care if we win or lose at this moment. It's just like this result or this game how it played out. It shouldn't have happened because I don't care if you don't have Cabecita. I don't care if you don't have 100% Diego. I don't care that you don't have Henry Martin. With the players that were available, we shouldn't have struggled as much as we did with this team. But here we are, penalty time, and we have a great start, right? Quinones once again slots his home, and Malagon comes up big for us and saves the first one. So at this moment, you're feeling good. And then Layun is up, and and I knew it when he stepped up. I always had a bad feeling about it. And please, Layun, shut me up, make me regret everything I'm about to say right now. And he misses the PK, right? So now we're back to even square, whatever, going through the motions, going through the motions. We make, they make, we make, they make, we make, they make. Um, and what do you know, right? At that moment, when Mayor misses it, Malagon saves it, we're in the quarterfinals, right? Everyone's celebrating. Fans are running onto the field. We think that everything is good. Leagues Cup tweets it out. America tweets it out. Nashville tweets it out. Everyone's tweeting out that we have won the game. You look back at the replay. The linesman that was there, besides the goal line, didn't say anything. The ref didn't say anything, and out of nowhere, we're all celebrating, and we see that the ref starts signaling players back to replay the penalty. Um, I'm not too sure if I heard a whistle after Malagon saved it, but I'm pretty sure if a whistle was blown, then that signals the end of the game. Like no matter what.
Yeah.
Um, am I wrong on that?
No, I believe that's how it works.
If someone
Once
in the
it's
chat can
over, it's
kind of
over.
correct me, or if someone else can correct me, I really don't want to give out false info, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure once the
No,
ref
I
blows a
believe that's
whistle,
right. I believe
right,
that
then
it's the
that
same
signals the
thing as
end of the game.
the same
But
thing when
it's
they can't check bar once the play restarts or restarts.
right,
Like let's say there's a foul and it goes out. They can't check that foul unless like once the play already started. So
right, yeah, yeah.
I would assume it's the same thing.
So
Like
I
I
wanna,
hear the
right, I
whistle.
want to go back to see if I heard a whistle or anything. But it seems like the call came from upstairs. And as shady as this tournament's been, because let's not pretend that this
Super
tournament
shady,
hasn't been
brother.
shady from the beginning.
Super shady.
Um, the call comes from upstairs, and it seems like Malagon stepped off his line. Both feet are off the line. The moment that the PK was taken, um, and we had to replay the penalty. Obviously, Nashville converts the penalty, and on the following one, Jonathan Dos Santos decides to kind of bring a little finesse to the thing, and didn't work out for him. Hits the crossbar, they miss, and then he misses, and then Nashville needs to go to win, and Malagon guessed right. Unfortunately, a little too low though. The ball went high. Nashville scores. They're through. We're out, and just like that, because we went from celebrating to packing our bags, and we're going back to Mexico. So yeah, I don't know if you want to share any 2 cents on the whole referee VAR thing, or if you want to leave it at that.
I mean, we could get into it, brother.
We can go. We can
We
go
don't have
for
to
it.
even talk about this
Go.
game only. We could talk about the whole tournament. Like it's suspicious, brother. And here's the thing: I'm not the type of guy to really say stuff like that because then it kind of kills the whole purpose of watching sports. But it's to me, it's like you said, the game is over. Everyone's celebrating. People are jumping in from the stands, right? And you're able to call like they even tweeted it out and everything, and you're able to like say, "Oh no, you have to restart it," because, mind you, I don't even know if the whole he stepped out of the line thing, if it was legit or not. But my point is, the game's over, right? In
Mhm.
games, there's stuff that you miss, and there's stuff that you don't miss. If you miss that, that's on you. The game's over, right? So for me, it's just like, okay, the game's over. If it is the right call, it doesn't matter. The game's over, right? And that's where I just have an issue. Like it just to me is just, and we could get like I said, we could get into the whole tournament. Like I'm not the type of person to be talking about league rivalries because for me, like I'm not rooting for a, I'm not rooting for a consistent rival to the title inside my league for someone that I don't even care about. Like these teams, I don't like respectfully. I don't care for you. Like we're never gonna play. We might not ever play again. You know, type of feeling. But like, man, this is just such a fishy tournament. Very like, luckily for us, first, second, and third gets a pass to CONCACAF Champions League, which we already have, right? So realistically, these players were just playing. Were just playing for just another bigger for a bigger paycheck, right? Per se. For us, hope like all I want is give me whoever the three teams end up going in, feed us those teams because I'll tell you this: they come to El Azteca, they are not gonna survive.
Of course.
Whoever they are, right? If they're MLS teams, they're Mexican teams, like they're not gonna survive playing us at home. This whole tournament was just super fishy, bro. Me and Ivan kind of had this like up and down argument about if it's a glorified friendly tournament, it's a legit tournament, it's this and that. The way everything was just moving, it's just like it's hard for me to not question things, right?
All right.
It's an attraction. It's like the whole MLS All Star games. Like it's like
Of
like it
course.
doesn't really matter because it's like okay, it doesn't matter, and that's just how I feel. If they were to move this tournament into a long year where we're in
Right.
groups and we have to go visit them and they kind of have to come and visit us, then you could have a real debate. But when
Right.
you're having this fishy, only the other
The
country
best the
has to,
best teams are on one side of the bracket, and then
exactly,
all
bro.
the
Like
all the
like
weaker teams per se are on the another side of the
mind you,
bracket. It's
there
just
wasn't even a lottery or what's it called, a sorteo. I
a
don't know how to say it in
sorteo.
English,
People just
right?
okay. I'm gonna put you guys with this guy, you guys
They
with this guy,
yeah.
and then once these results, you'll play these guys. We'll finicky everything. It's
Put
like
into perspective, bro, and I'll talk about other teams, right? Leon had to go to Canada, Vancouver, and then come all the way down to LA and play Galaxy.
yeah,
How does that make sense?
that's
I
ridiculous.
told my dad this because I told the homie this too.
That's ridiculous.
I'm like, because my homie's argument was, oh well, the idea is dope because immigrants aren't that are from over they get to see their teams, and I told him, bro, they put the biggest teams, America and Chivas, in Ohio and Missouri. Respect to anyone that's over there, but if you're doing this for sales and tickets, you're not putting them over there where you put the Mexican national team
Right.
in World Cup qualifiers because they don't sell they don't have the away teams or fans,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Like it's just so much, bro, that I just don't
So
like. Like,
So and okay, so if you were gonna make this game also in the U.S., here's another solution which could have been done. So you have three teams. You have Columbus, America, and St. Louis. Pick a damn city and play all the games in that one stadium.
yes, yes,
How hard was it to do that?
yes, yes,
You pick the higher ranked MLS team and they get the chance to play in their stadium for both games. I don't
yep,
care. But why do
yep,
we have to travel every single time? You're making
yep.
everyone travel for every single city. Like you said, you're going from Canada to LA. That's ridiculous.
And like I said, the Leon situation too. They had to miss a game because of the of League's Cup messing up their flight or something like that. Their hotels.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was, but it's like, come on, man. Like it's
ridiculous.
a mess. It's a mess, and I get it. It's an attraction. I'm obviously like we could all agree to disagree, but part of me is saying, you know what, this they just want Messi playing this tournament, winning it. People are gonna say how they just signed him. They were in talks with him for 3 years. You're telling me they didn't have an idea when he was gonna be free from PSG? Obviously, had they had an idea. David Beckham was very vocal that he was gonna try to bring Messi once he became an owner. Like obviously, like I said, to each their own. A lot of people are not going to agree with me. A lot of people might. It's all theories at the end of the day. But like I said, if it smells like fish, it's because it's fishy or whatever. I'm making up a saying, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I get it. But at the end of the day, there really isn't, I guess, meaning to whatever we're saying because our team is out. Unfortunately, we bow out in the round of 16. Um, Definitely not the placing we've hoped for. I don't know. From just based off the games that we've played, I guess we'll turn this into a little bit of a recap. Maybe we'll have another podcast with a couple of the other guys talking about the whole tournament. But just I guess quickly, um, how did you view the team throughout the tournament?
So I saw the team different each game. I don't know if you
That's
feel the
weird to say
same
because
way.
I had the same idea.
Yeah, because you go into the St. Louis game, right, and it's still a like a tough team, right?
They
They're
were
they're
number
first,
one.
and yeah,
Yeah, they were
and we
number
look
one.
amazing, bro. Passes and mind you, there's still a little of those like hesitation. We could have easily scored 7 in that game if we're
Right.
being completely honest, but
You
you
go to the
see the
Columbus game
chemistry,
now.
yeah, and then you get into the Columbus game and you start to understand. Okay, they figured us out. They know we're gonna do these short passes. What are they gonna do? Pressure us, right? Uh, my memory's kind of blurry, but I remember
Also,
I think
Judge did a lot of substitutions because we were already in.
substitutions we were already in. He put in Layun, he put in Araujo, and they were awful. Like
My goodness.
Henry Martin came in second half, and it was just it wasn't necessarily great, right? Okay, whatever. We came second, and to be honest with you, it was probably best for us to come in second because we end up playing in Chicago, which is more of a hometown than the hometown team. So for me, I wasn't necessarily mad. I'm like, cool, go send Columbus to Minnesota because I'm pretty sure we would have been more of an away team over there than in Chicago. We're playing Chicago, and then in Chicago, I feel it was a game we should have dominated. The Henry Martin injury before the game starts is kind of maybe you have an excuse there, right? You could sit here and kind of say, well, you kind of see the offense isn't the same without Henry and Valdez, right? Quinones can't do it all, and okay, we could throw in those arguments. Quinones' goal was completely in, right? Completely in. That was like,
Three
another
goals.
questionable thing.
3 goals. The
Yeah.
2 in Columbus and then the 1 in
Yes.
Chicago.
Yes. So like we're like it's not excuses. It's just so much BS that we had to go through in this tournament. And like the Chicago game, Quinones is in. They don't even check VAR. I tweeted out the first VAR check, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but the first VAR check was the Messi goal for in against who was it? Whoever they played. But that was the
Um,
first time they used it, and now they're starting to use it. And it's like come on, bro. You can't sit here and tell me the stuff like that's not fishy. I know there's people that are probably just like, oh, you're just coming up with excuses. Cool. I don't lose sleep losing this tournament.
yeah, no, I'm
Like
good
the,
team right
the,
now.
the winner is gonna get a pass to a tournament we already have a pass in, so it's not
Exactly.
necessary.
Winning this
We
tournament
don't
didn't
lose
mean
them.
much to us,
No, it
and
didn't.
we were
But
gonna win $2 million. That's honestly that's a shit pay.
yeah,
So I was look. I think I saw a tweet where I think the winners of Sudamericana or like people who advance in the Sudamericana later rounds get paid like triple or even quadruple of what the
and
winner
that's the
of League's
Europa
Cup is
League,
going to get.
and that's their Europa League.
And that's their
that's not
Europa
even.
League. Now
That's
imagine
not even their triple league.
Libertadores.
Yeah, so it's like you
At the end of
know.
the day, we can have a podcast, and we should probably have Brian on the podcast.
Yes.
Just talking about just the football federation, the Mexican Football Federation. I'm sorry, and just all like the fishy scandals and what this tournament actually means. which could be an interesting talk. Maybe we'll have to set it up one day now that we're not gonna have America for 2.5 weeks, or even maybe close to 3 weeks at this point. So we'll see if we can kind of set that up, because it'd be kind of interesting to get different perspectives of what this actually means for Liga MX, for MLS, and just the future of our tournament, because it's just, just things aren't going in an upward trend. You're not going to tell me that you created a 14 tournament with CONMEBOL and that's going in the right direction. That's just to satisfy everyone that's insane. Let's go back to Libertadores because we want to play teams from South America. We just think that the Libertadores is a better tournament to participate in. It exposes us to better competition. You're playing bigger teams. And it's just the overall better tournament.
Everything.
Everything was so much better when we were in
Mind you, I
Libertadores
don't even mind. I
Sudamericana.
don't mind Leagues Cup. Like the idea isn't
No,
that bad.
I don't mind it, but
was
it needs to be
just
formatted differently, though.
Yeah.
Let it be like a Copa del Rey or like a FA Cup. Play. You could have single direct elimination tournaments throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. I don't care.
The tournament around, like games around, a whole year, like you said, right? And then
there's different ways to integrate with MLS, which I'm not opposed to, because like you said, it gives chance for Mexican fans in the US to kind of go see their team, which is a cool thing to me. But when you're forcing a Mickey Mouse tournament like this, where it's so heavily one-sided, and we're not benefiting at all from this, there's just no point.
Teams lost players from all the
players
travel,
injured.
the bad
lost Berterame for the rest of the year.
Yeah, bro. Bad fields, like it is bad for us, bro. Mind you, like this could have been done during Copa Oro, for example, right? We're gonna get a little touchy on the national team, which isn't what we cover, but the whole purpose of more games is so youngsters could get more opportunities. Then why don't you do it when the call-ups are all with their national teams, right? Now you're kind of forced teams to say you have to take this serious, go and play whoever, like whoever you got to play. But how do you do that when it's like, oh, we're gonna pause the leagues? One league is already mid-season, the other one barely started, and so it's just, I don't know, bro. It's just a lot, and then the travel, like a lot of players. Diego Reyes came out and said it. Henry Martin came out. A lot of players came out. Even Carlos Vela, who plays here, said it. It's a disadvantage to the Mexican team.
Of course.
So it's like the players are aware. It's not like they're clueless. From both sides, they know what's up with this.
The only actually, but let me not say that. But yeah, no, I think we're all in agreement here. I honestly don't care if we sound like haters or anything. I'm gonna tell you personally, on record, on stream, I'm not losing sleep over this loss. I know my team should have played better. It's just very, very awkward how everything ended. But whatever, we're gonna go back to Mexico probably in the next couple of days. Maybe the players get a little bit of rest. They've been traveling a lot. Haven't seen their families in about a couple of weeks. So they'll probably get some time to kind of rekindle, regroup, regain everything just happened. But then it's back to work, and we'll talk about it more when we get closer to resuming league play. But maybe me and you can get on sometime during this week or even next week discussing what this team still needs, because I don't care what anyone says around Liga MX or even around the whole CONCACAF region. Adding Kevin Alvarez and Julian Quiñones didn't make us like front runners, like clear winners to win everything, because we knew that didn't solve everything. We needed another left back, and we knew we needed another striker, and we knew we needed another center back. We took care of one
that's problem. Debatable. I think we could have a debate. Oh, my bad, but
we took care of one, which was the right back, because obviously we didn't have a right back. Lara and Layun were not it. We needed a left back. Chava Reyes and Luis Fuentes, they're not it either. And then our center backs, very inconsistent, Israel Reyes and Sebastian Cáceres, and then one that continually shits the bed, and then Araujo. And then a backup striker for Henry Martin.
I think that's debatable that it makes
in what way
front runners. I think it did make us front runners, if I'm being honest with you.
I didn't see that, honestly.
Like I said, maybe we can have that debate.
Because you guys, you and Ivan both said that Julian Quinones wasn't even needed. That's more of a luxury signing for us.
Yeah, it's a luxury.
Exactly. So that didn't really add or do anything, because if we're being honest, our offense wasn't the problem. It was always the defense.
Yeah.
And we had 3 sections to take care of. We took care of 1. We're missing 2. We're in
But
talks.
You want to know an unpopular opinion?
What's up?
Kevin Alvarez on the defensive side does not help either. So
I actually like Kevin Alvarez's defense. I think the only problem with him though is what we saw in the second Nashville goal is that maybe
he plays too high.
He didn't judge that moment of the game where he should have just stayed back and let whatever do whatever. And that left the open mark, which is something maybe he's gonna have to work on. But I do like that he brings more of an offensive threat when Miguel Ayun had 1 good cross out of 100 per game, and Emilio Laro just is not a right back, and he is god awful at right back. And honestly, a high school team can get behind him with no problem. So I also think Kevin Alvarez was definitely needed for this team.
Oh, he was definitely needed, but what I'm saying, I don't think he helps the defense as much as in my opinion, bro, and maybe I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think when it comes to Mexican right backs, they're all liabilities when it comes to defense. I think you see it that they do struggle. Every single one of Jorge Sanchez, who we had, Julian Araujo, who we were linked to, and it just shows that, and like they're all very bad. Now Kevin hasn't really given me that right to say that he's really, really bad, but I don't think it's a strong suit.
And that first Nashville goal, who do you blame on that goal?
Which one?
On the first Nashville goal.
National?
The Nashville goal.
Nashville. The first goal, I blame. Didn't we say it was Cáceres and Malagon?
Center back. The second goal.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Who do you blame on that second goal the most?
The Araujo.
Center back.
Yeah. No, I get you. But remember, you also said that he was too high.
Right? I know. I said
so.
That. Of course.
Maybe the full blame isn't on him, but
the center back position has been a problem for us for so many years now, and it just seems we can't get it right.
Cesar Montes.
I'm all in. You guys know how much I love Cesar Montes.
Yeah, no. So
even he was on Monterrey. I love the player.
And then I'll be honest with you. When people say leave him in Europe, I get it. He's that talented, but I'm selfish. I'm selfish. If he's an option for us, come over.
We haven't won the league in 5 years. That's a problem.
Yep.
Bring in who you can, and let's go win the league, because this is getting a little ridiculous, honestly. But like I said, though, me and you can have another talk regarding transfer talks. I think that's something we like to kind of indulge upon and try to see how to make this team better. But hopefully we guys set one up in these coming weeks. We're not gonna have anything to talk about regarding America, gameplay. So yeah, we'll keep in touch on that. Any final thoughts before we head out?
No, bro. I mean, I think we kind of said everything. I think like I said, it's not that we're mad. I know it sounds we're passionate. The way we're talking, we're very passionate, but we're not mad. We're just very annoyed when it comes to this. Because to me, like you said, if they whistle the bell, the game's over, and America needs to pass through. It didn't happen, and it's like, well, now we're kind of bending the rules for what, for who, for what. And then you see the whole tournament, how it's going.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Like, don't waste our time. Like,
I saw a tweet saying that if Mexican teams are gonna get fucked, we'd rather be in Libertadores and Sudamericana than this league's cup thing.
Yeah. And I like how you're cussing, bro, because I think Ivan's gonna bleep us completely.
Yeah, I don't care what Ivan thinks. Ivan, you can fire me. So you mentioned Ivan saying that I threw a little cuss words in there.
I remember one time we did a space, bro, and someone commented, "This is the first time I heard Ivan say a bad word." That's why for me, like,
just so you guys know, Ivan's usually the one that keeps us in check, which I appreciate from him, because maybe something we could get carried away with our words. But since he's not here, I'm gonna take advantage of it.
There's no complaint from me, but if he listens to this, like,
well, that's the feeling around all of Mexico and maybe even some MLS players or fans think about this, think about the whole tournament. With the simple comments, I'll leave it up right there. But yeah, so that's it, man. Thank you for coming on, joining me in this kind of out of nowhere spontaneous podcast to talk about America. Unfortunately, our run ends here in the round of 16 against Nashville. Hopefully we have some news for everyone regarding America next couple of days. I know there's some transfers being ready to be wrapped up. Hopefully we get more information on a couple players coming in. Hopefully, maybe not just one, because we need a couple. Um, Everything will be taught talked about on our Twitter at Eagle Eye Podcast. But thank you guys for joining us, and have a good night, guys. Take care.